Marcus, I want you to share with everybody your schedule, kind of what it looks like for success, because I think it's important, especially for the new people out there, you know, not having all that white space in their schedule and making sure that they're focused on income producing activities, all those things. So, touch on what yours looks like so you can really give different agents examples of what schedule for success would be.
Sure, man. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate talking about this topic specifically. I take a lot of pride in my schedule and my routine, my habits. And so we just got to remember one thing in this business, that it's a temporary sacrifice for a permanent gain. We currently work 6 days a week, so we run the FFL schedule of dialing on Mondays and Thursdays, and then running appointments Tuesday, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and so we work 6 days a week. And I was told, like, hey, you want to build this thing big, you got to be comfortable with working a lot and not worrying about taking time off. And so, sure enough, that's the schedule we run. And so, what we've done is that on Mondays and Thursdays, my significant other Victoria, she actually helps dial, and so I use that time to hire. Right, so I spend all Monday and all Thursday doing my hiring interviews and helping agents with their pre-license, and just getting agents trained up, and then we're running appointments the rest of the week, right? So there's no white space in the calendar. What I do even on my run days, like on a Tuesday or Wednesday, I will hire for an hour before I go out in the field and run 7 or 10 appointments. And then if I have any appointments that reschedule or no show, then I'll just pull up my account, my hiring account, and start making hiring dials right then and there. Right. So there's I'm hiring all throughout the week, and also training agents at the same time. So we're not taking any time off other than a Sunday. Right. And I think that that we've seen a lot of success from that, just because you got to play big numbers with both production but also with hiring. And because we're able to not just use 1 or 2 days a week to do that, we're hiring the whole all six days a week. We're able to just talk to a lot more people, and that way we're constantly plugging more people into pre-license, constantly putting more people into contracting, and now it's becoming a machine that we couldn't stop even if we tried. Right, because now we have agents that are now doing the same thing. They're getting their team growing, and you just see licensed agent pop out after licensed agent, and it's just a really cool thing to see. But we know that this is something that it is a lot of work, but it's very rewarding to see the growth. But we just have that mindset of produce to pay the bills, hire to retire, right? And so I think that's something that we can all do a little bit better of. But use your time in between your gaps to also hire and train your other agents, and keep the team growing.
Marcus, what can you share with us in regards to social media? You've done a good job of, putting your name out there, whether it's maybe even direct messages or just consistency. You've been a great example of how to put yourself out there. What would you share with the group in regards to, how to really grow your agency through your social media platform?
Absolutely, yeah. So that's a great question. I think that social media can be a huge tool for us, especially when we're sharing our results, right? So it's as simple as just sharing a typical day for us, right? A lot of people aren't used to seeing someone make 5, 10 grand in a day, right? And if we can go ahead and share a little snapshot, like, hey, I just sit down with Bob and Mary. They both wanted enough to take care of their final expenses. I spent an hour and a half with them, and I made 4 grand, right? Or I spent 30 minutes with Mary, implemented a little policy to pay for her cremation, made $700, right? And that's been huge. And so I love seeing that, because there's a lot of people watching, right? There's so many people that are going to view your Instagram stories, your Facebook, and they may not like on it or comment on it, but they're watching, and you can just keep planting seeds, and they're going to eventually inquire, hey man, what are you doing? How did you just make 40 grand last month, right? Or how's your team doing? 300,000 a month in insurance, right? You've only been here so long, right? I think that's a huge aspect of it. But also, I like to highlight and promote the team, right? It's not just sharing our wins, but sharing the team wins. That's what just like Dan said, that gets me more excited than if I have a big policy. When I see someone else do a $300,000 annuity, sharing on every page that we can. And, eventually people are starting to reach out and saying, man, what are you guys doing? Who's Family First Life? Because at our previous company, we had a very tight knit group, and there was, a lot of scarcity, so they would hide the rest of the industry from us and say, oh, we got the best, and we believed it, right? But because someone started sharing on their social media, I started to see that wasn't the truth. And sure, that made me reach out, and that's why I'm here today, right? And so I think we got to do a continue to share, just the message of, hey, we're putting our clients first here. We're not selling some dream anymore, right? We're actually, living the lifestyle. And I think the best way to do that is to put yourself out there on social media for sure.
Oh, that's so in regards to marketing budget, talk about how important that is, what that looks like. That'd be great.
Perfect. Yeah. So that marketing budget is very important in this business. You can hire off of your warm market, but it's going to be challenging to build $1 million a month business just off of your warm market alone. And so that's the nice thing about what we do is a real business. It's not some pretend thing where we're just talking to friends and family. We can invest and hire people just like a Fortune 500 company, right? And so when I first came here, they said, you need to have a marketing budget. I was like, what do you mean? I didn't know what that was. And I started small. I started where we could at the time, just based upon our cash flow. And as we started to get results from that, we started to increase it. And now we're close to almost $5,000 a month into our marketing budget. And it's exciting because you just get more chances to talk to a lot more people. And as you start to get more results, you're going to look for other avenues other than just Facebook and ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn. There's so many different ways that we can reach out to other agents, and it could be a better time for our industry just because it's thriving as a whole with what's going on with the coronavirus and the economy. So not only to find other struggling agents, right? Because if they're not with Family First Life, they're probably not as padded with their bank account as we are, just because we get paid the most. And it's really easy talking to somebody and just sharing with them what we're doing here, what the possibilities are. And a lot of times it's a no-brainer for them to come on over, right? Especially if they already have their license and industry experience, they're probably not getting paid as much as we are, right? And they don't have the same training platform. So I think that everybody needs to have a marketing budget. And you got to think about it this way. Your team's going to do what you're going to do for the most part. If you don't have a hiring budget or a marketing budget, don't expect your team to do it either, right? But if you're saying, hey, I'm throwing down $5,000 a month into this because I want to get to $1 million a month, right? That's going to inspire them to do the same thing. And then pretty soon we're all running at the same speed, hiring at the same speed, and we're exploding together.
Absolutely. No, that's great. Go ahead. Actually, I'm going to ask you, John. I'm going to ask you marketing strategies. So if you want to kind of dovetail into whatever you have to say about marketing budget, and then understand the different strategies out there, whether, just an overview of everything that you do or everything that your staff does to scale the business, that'd be great.
Yeah. Just want to add on just one thing on top of what Marcus was talking about. When marketing budget should be looked at in the same way that your lead budget is. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out. And it's okay to be uncomfortable. Like Marcus was saying that he's increased his volume quite a bit lately. But a little while ago, if you had told him to put $5,000 into marketing, it's like that's going to hurt, and it's okay to hurt because we do make a lot of money here at Family First Life. And there's a lot of people that are watching their bank accounts grow. It's cool to watch that number get to a point it's never been before. But that money in your bank account does nothing for you. It's not going to grow. So if you're to put less into your bank account, more into your business to where it actually hurts each month, you don't have to do that forever. And then you grow exponentially the more you put in the earlier on. As far as marketing strategies goes, I think that the way the company's growing right now is so fast that just about everything works. And if you're not growing with the pace of the company, then there's something that you're not doing correctly because everybody's growing. Everyone's growing at an astronomical number right now. And if you're falling behind, then you got to make some changes. But as far as the marketing strategy goes, we've changed our a few things here and there. And I think that you've got to you got to look at your numbers and just about any part of this business, sort of like your check engine light. If the check engine light goes on, you go take your car and see what's going on with it. If your numbers aren't keeping pace with everybody and you're putting the money into it, first of all, you got to put the money into it. If you're not putting the money into it, that's the problem, So, but if you are putting the money into it and not getting the results, then you got to take a look and see, what's not working and why. We're pretty heavy with Zip. That's worked out really well for us. We still even do Craigslist ads because we pick up here and there. We use a company that sets up we're trying to utilize our time the best we can. So we have a company that actually presets interviews for us. So Kelly doesn't have to pre-screen people. The company knows that they're, the people they set up know that it's 100% commission insurance sales positions. So those are all pre-screened. We just added in some social media marketing as well too. So, I think the thing is that you have to, look at the people who are growing the fastest. Look at, Alondra, look at Dave Witchard, look at some of the other people, and what are they doing? How are they advertising? And emulate that. Maybe you don't have that type of marketing budget now, but put what you can into the avenues that they are too, and then start growing. And then as your income goes up, put more into the business. Because, when I started growing, I started making pretty decent money. I watched my bank account grow, and I do remember Sean saying that's stupid. The money in your bank account doesn't help you grow, and so we're always looking for it. Now I'll spend whatever it takes to hire now. I mean, the money that we're putting in, we put a sizable chunk in now, but we're getting the results. And so one of the things that Marcus is saying is now that we're putting more into marketing and we're growing, our agents are doing the same thing too, and we have such a high comp that part of that comp allows you to put more money into the business rather than just watch your bank account grow.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest areas that I could share with everybody is when you have operating expenses, it allows you to not have choices. And when you give yourself no choices, that is how you scale your business tenfold. The biggest problem when we're independent is we have the choice. We have the choice not to work, etc. But when you start to take on overhead with staff, office, and a marketing budget outside of your own personal bills, that's the best way to get great at this business because it doesn't allow you the choice not to be great. So the biggest problem is when you try to hold on to what you already have, that's all you're going to have. We talked about that yesterday, Dan. But when you start to let go of things and really start to get uncomfortable, then all of a sudden, how do you get better in the field? Hire an admin. What do you mean? Because you're no longer responsible for yourself, right? How do you get better? I'm not ready to mentor agents, or I'm not ready to hire one, and he'll have to get better. And guess what? That will help. It will help you get better in the field too, because now you have a layer of accountability. The biggest problem is when you stay small and tiny, you're never going to get to where you want to be in this business. So that's huge.